If you feel frozen right now, like you can't move, you can't plan, you can't even want the future because everything seems apocalyptic, you're not alone. I want to walk you through a few usable ideas drawn from scholarship that may help. In this video, I'll explain the framework. At the end, I'll give you a 5-minute exercise that you can try immediately. But first, let's talk about apocalypse. When many of us think of that word, we think about complete catastrophe, the end of the world, total collapse, but that's actually a flattened understanding. Historically, the word apocalypse comes from the Greek apokalypsis, which actually means an unveiling or a revelation. In early Jewish and Christian literature, it named a genre in which hidden truths about power and suffering are revealed. The end of an age wasn't just a destruction, it was the exposure of a corrupt order and the promise that it wouldn't last forever. Over time, the catastrophic imagery became dominant. We think of apocalypse as a disaster that destroys an era or ends a culture or a people, and that leaves no room for a future. But for many groups of people, including many Black and Indigenous communities, this kind of world ending is not impending. It is happening or has happened through colonialism, slavery, environmental destruction. Entire worlds have been shattered and life has persisted anyway. That anyway is where radical imagination lives. When apocalypse feels like a lived condition, we look to the people who have already been through some version of it. Radical imagination is one such tool that has been developed by these communities. It's the practiced ability to envision and begin to implement forms of life, safety, and power beyond structures that insist that nothing can come after them. BIPOC elders and scholars and thinkers have been modeling this kind of work for generations. Robin D.G. Kelley calls it freedom dreaming, a collective vision that becomes a way of moving together. Adrienne Marie Brown calls it emergent strategy, practicing the future on a small scale so it can grow. This week for Films for Fighting Fascism, we're watching Selma, which is about real activists who utilized radical imagination through song, strategy, and solidarity. Before we practice using this tool, I want to say one thing very clearly. Naming radical imagination here is not an invitation to appropriate the work of BIPOC activists to soothe white shock. Engaging radical imagination responsibly also means engaging the work that is already being done. So supporting Black organizers and organizations, thinking deeply about things like the Land Back movement, and remembering that no future is just unless it is just for all of us. With that being said, here's the 5-minute practice. In the comments, write down one thing you would expect to see in a more utopian version of the future. Make it something specific, a policy, a cultural structure, a way that people treat each other. Then ask yourself, is there some small scale way to begin to bring this bit of utopianism into your current present? Can you practice what a better future might look like? Even a little bit, even on the smallest of scales. I'll see you in the comments.